Once I got it, like, my heart dropped.
Hundreds of people made their way to downtown Denver this morning thinking they had a court date. It was just a scam. The text message made a ton of people think they were in trouble. That's the worst feeling. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
And I'm Phil Lipoff. These fake messages reached people all across Denver. It actually looks like a realistic court order, giving people a choice. Scan this QR code they see there and pay, or show up in court. 9 News consumer investigator Steve Stager is live outside the city and county building, where an awful lot of people chose that second option. Steve.
Yeah, Phil, 1437 Bannock Street. That was the address on this image that was sent along with the text message. That is also the address of the Denver City and County building where traffic court is held. So it seems pretty realistic. They say that nearly 200 people showed up this morning. So many people, in fact, that they had to put these signs all around the building clearly saying this was a scam.
And I had to be here today at 9.
They came here thinking they were in trouble.
I just wanted to come and double check, make sure if I had a ticket, wanted to come and pay it.
Only to find out they weren't.
It's very unfortunate for everyone who was scammed today.
All these 200 or so people drove downtown Friday morning thinking they had court because they got this message on Thursday.
It said that it was a final notice. It came in the form of an image. It said that I was due for court for 3 tickets, including a toll ticket.
Some got it more than once.
And when I received the second one, I thought, this really seems like a scam. But I thought, if I'm due for court, I cannot risk not showing up.
The fact we're doing a story on TV is enough to tell you the message is fake. Convincing, but fake.
No, they're not going to reach out to you via text message.
All of these people, they didn't do what the scammers wanted, according to Amy Knopfseeger, who runs the AARP's fraud hotline. She investigated the website in the QR code.
It said it was $6, right? So do I want to go down to the courthouse or get rid of it with $6? And they're making it a low barrier, so you think, okay, fine, it's just $6. I'll pay it even if I don't know I have this parking violation. They don't want the $6. They want your credit card information, and then they're going to go on a shopping spree.
Knopfseeger says the urgency of that message is part of the game.
Because once I got it, like, my heart dropped.
Cybercriminals prey on your emotions, hoping you act before you think.
It said final notice, and I knew nothing about this alleged legality, so I went into panic mode immediately.
Thankfully, that panic mode only cost these folks time and maybe money for a meter. But it's also a great reminder to be extra suspicious of the next message that pings on your phone.
Take a big pause, read it thoroughly, ask a friend about it. Nothing is so important that you have to make a decision right away.
To give you an idea of how these things work, these folks end up sending a blanket of messages to any Denver-related area code, hoping that somebody won't think about it for a moment and might just pay that fine. And to give you an idea of how widespread this is, the trade organization that represents courts says that this has happened in at least 8 other states, situations just like this where people show up to court and think that they have to pay something. So, what happens if you didn't show up to court? What happens if you didn't ignore the message and you scan that QR code? Well, you want to call your credit card company or any company that you use to pay that fine immediately and let them know that you clicked the link and you gave the payment information. You also want to consider freezing your credit with all the credit bureaus just to make sure nothing funky happens. We're live in Denver. Steve Stager. Steve on your side, 9 News.
What a hassle. And you got in the traffic, you got downtown, you paid for parking place. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, and so many people are used to this. Like if you've we've done so many stories at this courthouse with people who have gotten those bad parking tickets and have to come here and actually fight this. This is a court. Things happen here. Yeah. But there were some mixed messages in that image. One said that it was the District Court of Colorado, which is not correct. The District Court of Colorado is the federal court, so they got a whole bunch of calls the other day. this said 1437 Bannock, which if you do your research, you're like, oh, that's the courthouse. It makes sense. So you can understand why these people showed up today.
Steve, one final quick question. You mentioned freezing your credit. This is something I did years ago when someone stole my identity, and I have my credit frozen all the time. Would you suggest that that's a decent thing for people to do, so even if they do make a mistake here?
It's a good standard best practice just for everyone. If you don't plan on making a big purchase anytime soon, where you know that you're going to need someone to do a credit check, it's just a good practice to be in, just to make sure that nothing's happening behind your back. Think about how much of our data is out there in the public, how much people know about us. It's just a good idea.
All right.
Steve, you always give us something important. That's why you're our consumer guy. Okay.
That's why he's on our side.
You're on our
Steve,
side.
thanks.
This side today. Okay, thanks. Taking a live look outside after a really kind of gloomy week. It is warming up. We got sunshine. Senior weather impact team meteorologist Chris Bianchi is joining us here with a look at the forecast. And it's a fun Friday, and we're heading into a weekend.
Good looking one.
See, I'm on your side too, as well. See?
Yeah, you are.
Not
Same
just
side.
Steve.
You're on the same side.
See, Steve
side.
gets all the kudos, but I'm on your side too. I just want to be clear about that. And want to also point out the fact it is beautiful.
When the wind's howling 100 miles an hour, you're on our side.
Yeah, and yesterday when everybody's screaming, oh, finally it's going to rain, and then it doesn't rain, and yeah, check my comment section. It's a lot of fun. Denver, lots of sunshine right now here over the Mile High Sea. Just a few fair weather clouds. Yesterday, hey, I know in Denver we totally got skunked. No doubt about that, but you get southern Colorado. We saw some really beneficial drought-denting rain in southern Colorado. And again, Denver, it'll happen at some point for us. Just stay patient. We are seeing some snow showers in southern Colorado, in the San Juans, as well as the San Cristos right now. Did pick up a fair bit of snow in northern Colorado last night. The storm system, though, it is departing off towards south and east. But you might notice that little swirl of clouds in California. That's our next storm system. That'll bring us, hopefully, some rain for the middle of next week. I'll tell you about that in a few minutes.
Chris, thank you. A viewer tip led us to find this on South Broadway last weekend. Sprinklers running for hours despite water restrictions. But finding out who was responsible wasn't so simple. 9 News reporter Evan Krugel started asking some questions and kept getting passed around. Evan.
Yeah, Phil, it seems like such an easy question, right? Who's in charge of this median in the middle of a major road like Broadway? Well, it turns out that answer was a bit more complicated than you might think. This was the scene last weekend on South Broadway near Louisiana, where sprinklers in the median were left running for hours, pouring out hundreds of gallons of water at a time when restrictions are already in place. We first heard from a viewer who called us after getting nowhere with 311, asking a simple question: who's responsible for this? Turns out it's not a simple answer. We started with Denver Parks and Rec, who sent us to the Broadway Business District, which sent us to the Merchants Association, which sent us to the South Broadway Business Association, which sent us to the local maintenance district. And that's where we finally got an answer. A board member tells us businesses along this stretch pay taxes into the maintenance district, which hires an outside landscaping contractor to care for trees and plants in the median. That contractor was reportedly getting sprinklers ready to turn on later when a valve got stuck, leaving this zone running until someone flagged it. That board member says the issue has been fixed and shouldn't happen again, adding they're well aware of the need to conserve water and have paid the contractor to add mulch to tree beds this year to try and reduce water use. Now, that contractor says the sprinklers here have not been turned on yet along this stretch of South Broadway. They were simply getting them ready to turn on when this all happened. A reminder, Denver Water is asking people to wait a couple more weeks before actually turning on those irrigation systems for the year. But this is a good reminder. If you see water being wasted along the Front Range this year, we'd like to know about it. So certainly let us know so that we can look into it and continue to get answers. Reporting live in Denver, Evan Krugel, 9 News.
Evan, thank you. It's a shame that it took that long, especially since we're all being asked to conserve. Right. Evan, thank you for that. 5 more states are joining the federal antitrust lawsuit aimed at stopping the merger between Nexstar and Tegna. Tegna, of course, owns 9 News. Nexstar owns Fox 31 here in town. Attorneys general from Indiana, Kansas, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Vermont all joined the suit. More than a dozen states are now suing to stop this merger, including Colorado. For the first time, that includes Republican attorneys general, making this now a bipartisan effort. The FCC and Justice Department approved the merger last month, and President Trump publicly backed the deal. The suit has put the merger on pause until it goes to trial. If the merger is allowed to go through, Nexstar would own 264 TV stations nationwide, including both 9 News and Fox here in Denver. It would reach as many as 80% of households in the U.S. Nexstar did release a statement today saying the lawsuit is, quote, strangling local journalism.